Absolute robbery. Confirmed. Undeniable. But brushed under the carpet. Absolutely pathetic stuff from the mainstream media, from the Premier League, from the PGMOL. And Chelsea have every right to feel aggrieved. Liverpool have every right to feel aggrieved. And I know, listen, by the way, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribing, get the bell notification button turned on, get all the admin stuff done and out the way now. I know a lot of you are bigging up the channel. Get the video hyped up as well, if you could be so kind to get that done. There's a new hype up feature here on YouTube. Over the last couple of years, it's become very unfashionable to talk about bad refereeing decisions. Why? In the banter economy, we never want to allow a rival that we despise or a player or manager that we despise, especially if it's our own club. And you see this a lot with the Arteta outers. You get it right now with Man United fans who are Amarim out. Anything that could potentially, possibly, maybe one day be used as an excuse or as a defense or as even a slight, very slight, barely touching the sides, made no real difference accompaniment, a slight soothing of the remedy, soothing of the symptom, anything that could be used that's perceived in that way about managers, about clubs we hate, we have to shut it down. This is not Arsenal's fault, by the way, but some Arsenal fans, every time they blame refs, it's led to this point where rivals are like, no excuses, take accountability, no excuses. That no excuses nonsense has got to a point where I have had in the last 18 months, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, United fans, respectively, sit on my channel, on my main channel, the Football Terrace. I hope you're all tuning into that as well. After a game, and they will say words to the effect of, they'll go into more detail, but I'll boil it down. They'll say words to the effect of, oh, you know what? We won't even use player names. We'll just do positions so no one gets offended. My number 9 today was not at it. His first touch was bad. His shooting was off. My winger was just terrible. Kept on cutting back inside. Wouldn't take his fullback on. I hated the midfield that my manager picked. Those two just don't work well together. It should have been player X who came off from the bench. You saw an improvement in us. Equally, decision-making from my centre-backs today, stepping out when they should be sitting back when they should be stepping out. Their individual performances were awful. But I also look at the manager, the midfielders I mentioned, the substitutions were too late and they were poor. And I don't like it when we go a goal up in a game and then we sit back and absorb and try and counter. Let's take the initiative and let's kill the team. They'll give a bit of analysis along the lines. And in the banter economy, even that is now called an excuse. The live chat is excuses. Because we've gone to this point now where terrible refereeing decisions, okay, injury crises, and even criticizing legitimate football issues within your team on that day are all put into the same bucket of excuses, because what a certain demographic and a certain percentage of football fans want is for you just to say, my team was crap, my team is rubbish, my team is winning nothing, so they can go, hey, if they're rivals. Or if they don't like your current manager, your current team, they can say, see, I was right. Everything is being boiled down into this nonsense. Right, and the mainstream media are now getting involved with it as well, and that's terrible, because we could all call those idiots out and say, you're just fools, you're just clowns. Now the media are doing it. You're actually giving validity to these clowns. It's crazy. And you saw this over the course of the weekend. Chelsea were 110% robbed. This flick on from Collins, 100%, Atara is in an offside position. He then makes a play for the ball, tries to get contact with it. The offside was not given. Now, what's amazing is I went on to Sky Sports Premier League's Twitter feed. Not a single mention of it. Not a single mention. They shared all the other ref watches, but not that decision. Now, they did discuss it live on TV, where there's no recourse. And they have placed that video in a slight article on their website. But you've got to look for it. You have to search for it. They haven't pushed it upon us. And what Mr. Plant himself, man like Dermot Gallagher, said is it's not offside. And his words were, did Atara make a play for the ball? No. Did he interfere with play? No. Did he touch the ball? Probably not. Of course he interferes with play. He steps across Reece James trying to play the ball, right? And therefore it's given us offside. Do you know how you know he's lying to protect the PGMOL? You'll see this, just watch football when this happened. It happened actually in the same game. If a player runs through and he's offside and the ball's going away from goal, and say the ball's going towards the corner flag and the fullback's going to collect the ball, if the striker that's offside runs towards that player, the flag just goes up. But based on what Dermot Gallagher has just said and what the PGMOL have just said, is that because he didn't make contact with the ball, Atara, he's not interfering with play, even though he challenged for it and stepped across a defender who may have cleared it if he wasn't distracted, may have done. And I'm just sitting there and thinking to myself, how are they defending this horrendous decision? But then what they're doing is they're defending it. They'll say we covered it. Our TV companies, we covered it, but they brush it straight under the carpet. Chelsea fans shouldn't be silent about this. Forget all this manosphere. We have to take accountability. Let's only focus on our performance. Nonsense. How many goals do good teams actually score in games? Genuinely. Let's just Google this. Highest ever goals scored in the EPL. The most amount by a club, this is by a club. Let me just, I don't know the answer, so I need to work this out. Most goals scored by a team in Premier League history. No, that's all seasons. Why does this not just come up straight away? It'd be really, really quick and easy, wouldn't it? If they just went, yep, this here. Teams, wins, goals. Most goals, 106. Okay, so 106 goals is the most ever scored ever in the Premier League. Divide that by 38 games. It's still only 2.7 per game. Okay. And this is why we're creating these stupid standards that must be called out by real football fans. If the most goals ever scored in a season only averages 2.7 per game, if you score 2 goals in a Premier League football match, the idea, right, that, yeah, we didn't score 5 or 6, though. Yes, you could have done. But why are we setting a standard that would be above the average of the highest goal scorers ever in Premier League football history? Deep it for a moment. Deep it. The average amount of goals scored per season in the Premier League by the top 4, I think, comes in at around about 85 goals. You divide that by 38 games. It's 2.2, which means 2 goals, just over 2 goals on average is what the top teams score. So if you have a game where you score 2 goals, 3 goals, but then there's a terrible refereeing decision that stops you scoring another or adds a goal to the opponents, you should call it out. It's fine margins in this game. That doesn't mean you let your players off the hook if they've missed sitters. You still call them out. But we can't ignore this terrible officiating. We've got to start dealing in unadulterated facts instead of this manosphere. I'm hard. I'm not weak. I'm only taking personal accountability bullshit that's taken over our game. And on Liverpool, listen, this has to be discussed as well. Absolute blatant red card. Again, barely a word being said. No statements released as of now. The amount of challenges like this I've seen given as red cards. That, as you can see, ankle, shin, the whole caboodle. Yes, he wins the ball first. Nobody is denying that. But this is a stonewall red card. And it goes on to a list now that I have up to 14 so far this season of horrendous mistakes made by VAR, made by referees, defended by the PGMOL. Only 1 apology issued so far. And this is why this decision has got to be called out. Because I can guarantee you this now, as sure as eggs are eggs. I can guarantee it to you. It will not be long. It will not be long until you see a very similar challenge given as a red card. And then the question is, well, how is that fair on Liverpool? How is that even fair on the team that gets the red card in future? Where is the consistency? I'm not going to stop calling this out. This is never about providing excuses for a team. Liverpool won. But they should have played the majority of that game against 10 men. And it must still be called out. Now, I know there'll be some older fans that say, listen, Terry, that's a great challenge in my day. I agree. That wasn't even a foul when I grew up watching football, but the rules have changed. At the end of the day, passbacks used to be part of the game. They're now not. What are you going to do? Goalies can't hold on to the ball for more than 8 seconds now without conceding the goalkeeper. What are you going to do? Concede one and go, yeah, but in my day, that weren't a rule. It is a rule. Boxing fights used to have 15 rounds in it. They have 12 now. What are you going to do? The rules have changed. And we have to understand that. I'm not judging this based on what I want it to be or what it used to be or what it could be. We're judging it based on what the rules are and the fact that multiple players have been sent off for that exact same challenge. Look, as ever, I want your views. I want your opinions in the comment section below. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.